Hi, everybody. I am Dia Moretti Teddy Sousa, and today is the official release date of my book, Words of a Visionary. And joining me today is a special little helper who has been part of the process. As many of you know, I had a editor helper by the name of Elliot Tucker, but for those of you who've kept up, in December he passed away. And it took a while until April that I got a brand new helper and his sister, and I'd like to welcome you to him. He's sitting with me right now at my feet. I'd like to introduce you to him. I'd like to say hello. He was born April 1st or 2nd, and no joke, he is the sweetest, most affectionate little boy I've ever met. His name is Denzel Elliott Tucker, but we affectionately call him Denzi. I'd like for you to say hi to him. Hi. Say hi, Denzi. Isn't he sweet? He loves books and reading and story time, and he's been there helping me write this book as I've been trying to write this book for a while and had to take a break, and just spending time with him and his sister Sunny Ray has been an absolute delight. um so I'm going to read for you some of the selections from this book. I hope you've enjoyed. If you're a cat lover, you will have loved the fluffball Denzel Elliott Tucker, or Denzi. And I'm going to read for you Lift Up. This poem, Lift Up, made me think about some of the artwork downtown. If you've ever been to downtown Johnstown, there is some amazing artwork all around town. It was done by a lot of local artists through the National Alliance of Mental Illness, and some of the artists, that they went all over town around the McDonald's area, along some historical buildings and such. And one of the artworks that you will love is by the McDonald's, and there's a girl who is sitting with some balloons, and a lot of the people are of different tones, different ages, different backgrounds to represent the history. And one of my favorites is this little girl. She's not little. I'd say she'd be a young lady. And she's holding balloons. And she's sitting on top of a cloud. And she has her arms extended up. And I was thinking of her when I wanted to write this poem. So I hope you enjoy it. It's called Lift Up. It takes more than holding arms at length to lift up, or using your words as a segue to lift up. You have to enact and be engaged. Stop closing your fists at the newest opportunity, or sink your head in the sand trying to close off your losses to lift up. Lifting is weighted work, bearing burdens and listening well. To be sharing in the hardships, a body double to encourage and be supportive, is a way to share in the fruits and the growing pains, is a good way to lift up. The next poem I'd like to read to you is called Nostalgia Rewind. This summer I went to Latrobe, and I was seeing the statue of Mr. Rogers. If you've never been there, it's a magical place. There's lots of great shops, and Mr. Rogers is sitting on a bench, and I got to sit beside him. It's really cool. I was in the museum at the Latrobe Art Center, and I purchased a lot of Mr. Rogers stuff, including one of my favorite shirts, the Mr. Rogers neighborhood shirt. So stoked to go do that this summer. And I was having a conversation with a friend about it, and about, all the cool stuff we did as a kid. But then there was something that struck me. I was reading the Bible and thinking about, I think it was somewhere in Ecclesiastes, it said about how we shouldn't reflect on the good old days. As a lot of us, as you get older, a lot of people say, oh, why can't it be like the good old days? How we shouldn't cling on so tightly to those good old days. And we need to look forward and not back. Not that we shouldn't forget our past, but we shouldn't romanticize the past or try to cling too tightly to the past, but look forward, not back so much. Not that we shouldn't forget the past, but we need to honor it and move forward. I think is the best way to think about it, is honor what happened in the past, or if you've had trauma in the past, just not dwell so hard on it and think about it for what it is and release it and move forward. Not easy, especially if you've been through a lot of bad things. Not easy to let go of that because sometimes it clings so tightly. Or if you kind of romanticize a lot of past things like the good old days, you feel like your good old days are over and you're getting too old for everything. It can be a bit of a culture shock. So I wrote Nostalgia Rewind, thinking about the old days and not clinging to them. So here we go. Don't look back into the salt shaker, trying to season the yesteryears into today. You can never go back to what was as you longed for it, wishing for the old days. It won't assist in the task for tomorrow. Shake it too hard and it spills everywhere. Wasted years you cry over, so leave them in the past and don't pass on the moments today offers. This next one I wrote, I was having one of those days. Mondays. Um, Mondays can be a bit awkward. For those of you who don't know, I'm a slider, which is very rare. There's not that big a population of people who are sliders. I'm in like the 10 to 20% of people who are sliders, where my body has too many electrons, and I have trouble with some technology in my right hand. If I touch certain things with my right hand, I've had computers shut down or freeze or stop working. I've had electronic blood pressure cuffs register me as not alive, and I've had a bunch of other electronic devices think that I'm a robot for some reason. Like, okay. So if you follow me on Instagram at Teddy and you've noticed I've not been on there, it's not my fault. For some reason, okay, my cat Ebby has locked me out and I can't get back in. And every time I try to get back in, it registers me as a robot. It thinks I'm not real, but I'm real. I'm breathing, I'm living, I'm a human. But it's for some reason, even though it sends me messages, it still thinks I'm a robot. So I could start a new account, but I figured why? I barely use it. I mean, it's there, but I barely use it. I use my Facebook very sparingly. I have my own page now, Purplicious. I don't want to be stressed out by doing too many things at once. I like having things under one umbrella where I can do them, and then when I'm too tired or don't feel like doing much anything, I can walk away from it and then come back to it later. Um, Especially if I have too many electrons in my body and they're going berserk and I can't handle, and the technology doesn't like me. So, if you've noticed I've been absent from Instagram, I'm very sorry. I'm not ghosting you. It's just that I got locked out and it's complicated and I can't get back in. So that explains everything. Anyway, I wrote this based on one of those really bad Mondays I was having. So here we go. Mondays are strange. Maybe you've had one of those too. Here we go. Mondays are strange. Trying to reset. No go for internet. Crashed systems and reboots. Looking for lost objects, temporarily out of circulation. Searching shelves and car seats. Hoping somehow items will appear. Hoping to laugh at the end of the day. And the hunger headache will die away. After eating something nourishing. Mondays are strange, the twilight zone of lost dreams. Make some plans and watch them be redirected into another reality. When the weekend comes, it is a whole new course. Try to find humor through the process. Mondays may be wild, but try to contain a spark of joy in the madness of them. This next poem I'd like to read is called More Than a Season. As you don't know, it's been a very long season from June to now. If you followed me or are very close to me, you know that I've been going through a lot. My brother's been getting treatment now to help prevent bone marrow cancer, and he's been doing really good. So I'd let you know that it's been great. But also, other than that, for me personally, my body has been acting up again. I've been having a really bad season of flare-ups. I have to go back next year to determine why my white blood cell count is going berserk again. And my urologist has been concerned that I am in that 1% of my body has the white blood cell count crashing. It has a long name. Don't ask me to spell it or explain it. It's just I'm in that 1%. And I have to get checked again. And if it goes completely berserk, I have to go see this hematologist and get it all straightened out. I'll keep you posted. Um, but it's more than that. I wrote more than a season because sometimes maybe you're going through one now where you are going through so much and it feels like it's never going to end, and you begin to wonder, is there an out? Is there a possibility for the next season to come? But I want you to know there is an out. There is a hope. There is a sunbeam. I'm not going to give you a false sense of every cloud has a silver lining. My late grandmother always thought that behind every silver lining there's a dark cloud. That's just the way she was. Um, I'm not going to give you any false promises that it's never going to come back again. But you need to know that there is a God up there who will sit with you through every storm, through every trial, through every hardship, who loves you, who cares about you, and who will be there with you through every hardship and every difficult season, even when it feels like more than a season. So this is for you if you are going through more than a season. The downside of the sinking sands, the growing state of loneliness, waiting for the length of it to pass, as it seems longer than a season, when body and mind are in another time zone. Isolation creates a false sense of life. Keep blossoming amidst the desert spaces, no growth meant to flourish. Keep shining in the strenuous months and years. The blooms will come in the sorrows and tears, a new pathway in the lonely lands, shimmering with golden beads, no way to turn back now, where the jewels shine. And I was thinking about how in Isaiah 16:33, where God says through the prophet Isaiah about there's going to be deserts in the wastelands. There's going to be a new stream of life in the deserts, and he's making a new path. And can you see it now? And that's sort of what pops in my head every time I think of that. Deserts, about streams of water coming through the deserts. There's an oasis. There's hope. That's what I think of there. I know I'm not a Bible expert, but that's what I think of with different verses that pop into my head. And the next one that I want to read to you is called Unfinished Bones. I was in Latrobe at this place called Eclectic, and they had and we were looking around, my sister and I, and one of the artists painted this really cool picture of a skull, and I thought it was the neatest portrait ever. Unfortunately, I couldn't include it because it's just too cool, and it didn't fit in my book. I was bummed. However, if you want to see the picture, go to my WordPress page through my Purplicious page, and you'll find it with the poem Unfinished Bones, and you can see the picture. It's outstanding. So here's Unfinished Bones. Calcium deficiency, the doctors declared. Drink up some vitamin D and build up your frame. Bones can't fuse well unless you furnish them with nutrients. However, it is hard to walk in the shadow of self if love isn't built from a firm foundation. Don't bones wither away if joy and hope are no longer there? Love is the calcium, the vitamin necessary for living. Soak up the selflessness given. Don't try to contain it and place a price on the value, where camaraderie resides. This next poem I would like to read is called If. This is kind of a great poem because I kind of said that you can't spell life without if. Think about that one. Can't spell life without if. Because if is just one of those words that's brimming with possibilities. If, and you think about if I do this, maybe that will happen. Sometimes you can get caught up in the ifs. You know, what if I didn't do this? What if I didn't do that? Don't get caught up in ifs. So, um, I just played off the word if for the poem. So here we go. If. If is the biggest little word, ripe with possibility, doors waiting to open, the next step in growth, a few stumbling blocks and some trepidation. Still, life is chock full of ifs. Some stipulations apply, where we drive ourselves to despair, looking back in regret, wondering why we chose certain paths, or failed to follow another career. We cannot chase the foolish notions, or the long dormant dreams. We have to live in hopeful wonder, knowing there is room for exploration, tingling in ifs. The final poem I'd like to read to you guys, and I hope I have time for this, is called Firm Foundation. For those of you who are familiar with my story, I've been about 10 years seizure-free. Next year is my brainiversary. If you're unfamiliar with the term brainiversary, it's a celebration of being seizure-free. And I can't believe it'll be 10 years. I'm so excited. I have a journal to celebrate that called Happy Brainiversary, a celebratory journal where you can record memories, put photographs in it, or if you want your friends to write in it, you can have them write in your special journal for your anniversary. And if you want to find out more about that, go to my page, purplicious.net, at the end and look it up and purchase your own copy. Or you could get a sticker for somebody that is seizure free. Or if you want, you can have the downloadable version, a print version, or a sticker, or you can get them a brainiversary card to make their day extra special. Because brainiversaries need to be a thing. And we need to celebrate them because any day seizure free is a great day. So, this is for all my friends who are seizure free, whether they be a month, a day, a year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. This is for you guys. Firm foundation. As a tree in the garden, planted by streams of water, let my roots be firmly planted so I will not be moved, or washed away in tides of confusion. May my feet be upheld, not turning my ankles so I stumble and fall. Let my heart not grow discouraged under the weight of disappointment, or sag beneath years of loneliness. Help me stand and sing in the midst of adversity, so I may uphold others in the darkness. They will see and know there is hope together. And that's it for me, the Amaretti Teddy Sousa. Please check the links below in case you're interested in any more of my work on my WordPress, my YouTube channel, or if you want to purchase any more of my books, you can find them all under purplicious.net. You'll find all the links to my Ko-fi, my WordPress page. I have a Patreon page, which I barely use, but if you want to find stuff there, you can. And support me. Any amount matters. Buy my merchandise. Make Purplicious a thing. Make brainiversaries a thing. Celebrate seizure freedom. And I hope you all have a wonderful time. And I will talk to you later.